What's up, everyone? I'm back, and as you can see, working from home is getting to me because I'm wearing a sweatshirt today. So I'm making a video today for my students. I figured it would be more interesting to watch one of these that's edited and doesn't include all my rambling than to listen to me do another screen recording or whatever. So I'm just gonna briefly go over what we went over in class. If you're watching from outside my class, enjoy, because this is good information anyway. I'm gonna model and how to do a reader response today so that you can use this to do yours. Okay, so some ways to record our thinking about what we are reading. The organizer I suggested in class is called Bookhead Heart, and it is on Canvas for you. Okay, really this is just a kind of a brainstorming exercise so that you can write out your reader response and know what to include in it. Okay, and in this section, we're kind of just including things about the book that we are gathering as we're reading. So what is the book about? If there's something the author wants you to know, who's telling the story. So for example, I'm reading Midnight Sun. Still, yes, I'm reading that book. I'm about halfway through at this point. But the book is about a vampire who falls in love with a human. Okay, I don't really have anything specific that I think the author wants me to know, so I'm gonna kind of go on to the next point. It's told from Edward's, he's the vampire, point of view, and this story takes place in Forks, Washington. Okay, so now I have a little bit of information about the book when I am ready to go ahead and write my reader response. Move over to Head, and this is where you just kind of record your thinking. What are the things that you're thinking about as you're reading? Maybe what new ideas is it bringing up? Things like that. So, and with fiction, it's kind of tricky, right? Because you're not really learning something new. So you're gonna have to think about maybe the world around you and what connections you can make. Maybe even connections to yourself. So here's something simple that I'm thinking about as I'm reading this book. I read these books in high school, the original Twilight series, and I'm realizing as an adult, what I'm thinking about as I'm reading is how much my taste has changed in books. So I'm gonna say this is a different experience reading as an adult. Okay, so I'm kind of like reacting almost, or like responding to what I'm reading about, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. Not really. I'm a little bit surprised by that. I thought I was gonna like it better. All right, I'm gonna move on to Heart. What did I learn about me or others? How has my thinking about the world changed? How will this help me be better? Okay, so depending on what book you're reading, it might look a little bit different, right? So again, my book is not really like bettering the world or anything like that. But what I am learning is that kind of with the way that Edward reacts to stuff, is teaching me things about people around me and my world and love in general. And so one thing that he has a really hard time with right now in the book is self-control, because he's a vampire. So self-control is difficult. It's kind of like a lesson I'm seeing when you really love someone. So he's really having a hard time staying away from Bella because he loves her. So that's something that I think could apply to more than one person. And then questions. So what are we wondering about? What am I wondering about that's coming next, or any questions that I might have? So one of them is obviously, what will happen next? And then I also have, right now in the book, Edward's kind of annoying me. So I'm going to say, when is Edward going to get over it. So what you're then gonna do is you're gonna go into Canvas. Hopefully you will have your courses there. You'll click on Language Arts, whichever one that looks like for you. You'll see the home page. You'll want to click on Modules, and then it will say this top one, 915 through 918, is the one that you're going to want. At the very second to last, where it will say presentation responding to reading. If you go there, it will kind of explain everything that I just talked about, but you'll be able to access the documents. That's what those blue links are. And that's where you can get the brainstorming documents to help you guide your reading response. Then you want to click Next, and it'll take you to where you're going to submit the assignment, okay? So this is where you're going to actually respond. Now it says that you can do a piece of writing, so like 5 to 7 sentences, which I'm going to model for you, or you can do a short video where you talk about what you're reading. This one is kind of wide open for you to decide how you want to do it, but I'm going to show you how you would do it if you were to write it. So I'm going to click Text Entry. Okay, and I'm going to type in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw off of what I put in my organizer, right? So I'm first going to tell them like what book I'm reading. So the book I am reading is called Midnight Sun. It is about a vampire named Edward who lives in Forks, Washington, and finds himself falling in love with a human named Bella. So I just captured everything that was in that first book quadrant. Notice, like, this is probably the only thing that I'm going to summarize, because really I'm trying to capture my thinking, not what the book's about. Okay? Now I'm going to move on to head. So what are some things that I'm thinking of? What are some things that I am wondering? So one thing I'm noticing as I am reading is that this is a very different experience for me than it was when I read the series in high school. I'm gonna expand upon that a little bit, just one more sentence. It's not quite as fun, but I am still interested in the story. Okay, so I've captured my book, I've captured head, I'm gonna move on to heart. Okay, so what are some things I'm learning, some things that I'm feeling, right? As far as the story goes, I'm really learning a lot about Edward's point of view. And the main thing happening is that he is struggling with self-control. It almost makes me think that a possible lesson here is self-control is difficult when it comes to love. Okay, so I've now captured all 3 of my quadrants. I'm going to finish up with any questions that I have left. So my questions going forward are, what is going to happen next? And more importantly, is Edward ever just going to get over it? Question mark. Okay, and then I would actually be done. I would click submit up in the right hand corner, and it will give me this nice little confetti that tells me that I am done. And so that is how you would submit your reader response, which is due on September 21st. All right, so that's all I have for you today. Until next time, get outside, read a book, and be nice to each other.